My name is Timothy Gibson. And I need you to understand something before I tell you this story. I am not an angry man. I was raised by a woman who ironed her church clothes at 5 a.m. and told me every single morning, "Baby, let your work speak." Mama didn't raise a hothead. She raised a surgeon. But even surgeons have a breaking point. It was a Tuesday, February 4th, 7:43 a.m. I had just finished a 14-hour shift, a pediatric craniotomy on a 6-year-old boy named Elijah who'd been seizing for 11 days straight. I saved that child's life with my own 2 hands. I walked out of Emory University Hospital in Atlanta, still in my scrubs, coffee in hand, phone buzzing in my pocket like something was wrong. 27 missed calls. 14 texts from my boy Fabian. 2 from my colleague Dr. Priya Nair. 1 from my mother. Mama's text just said, "Timothy, call me. Now." My chest tightened. I thought someone died. I called Fabian first because Fabian doesn't panic easy. He picked up on half a ring. "Bro." His voice was different. Low. "Have you seen TikTok?" "Fabian, I just got off a double. I haven't seen anything." "Your sister posted a video. It's got 8 million views, Timothy. 8 million. I felt the coffee go cold in my hand. Not from the temperature. From something creeping up my spine. Because my sister Felicia Gibson, 29 years old, my only sibling, had been looking at me sideways for years. And I always let it go. I should have never let it go. Let me paint you the full picture of Felicia, because you need to understand who she is before you understand what she did. Felicia and I grew up together in Decatur, Georgia. Same house. Same mama. Same second-hand school shoes and rice and gravy Fridays. But somewhere around the time I got into Morehouse on a full academic scholarship, something shifted in her. I didn't notice it at first. I was 18, excited, naive. Then I got into Emory Medical School. And the shift became a wall. She'd say things like, "Timothy think he better than everybody now." Or she'd go quiet at family dinners when someone brought up my residency. Mama would always smooth it over, "Felicia's just finding her path." But paths take different shapes, and Felicia's path led to a retail manager position at Lenox Square Mall. Which is fine. Completely fine. Work is work. Except Felicia didn't see it that way. She spent years building a TikTok following, about 340,000 followers, posting lifestyle content, outfits, drama, real talk videos where she'd shade people without naming them. I didn't follow her account. I knew better. What I didn't know was that 3 days before that Tuesday morning, she'd posted a video. 15 seconds. Shot in her car, sunglasses on, that smirk she's been wearing since we were kids. The caption, POV, "Your brother went to school for a decade and still can't afford a house. Some people just choose struggle." In the video, she held up her phone showing a screenshot, MY Instagram post, of me outside my apartment complex in Midtown Atlanta. I'd posted it 2 months earlier with the caption, "Home. Simple life. Grateful." She used that against me. 8 million people watched her laugh at my life. Fabian texted me the link. I sat in my car in the hospital parking deck, heater running, and I pressed play. There she was. My sister. Laughing. So my brother, bless his heart, spent 12 years in school, racked up debt, barely posts, living in some little apartment talking about grateful. Baby, grateful for what? Some people just don't have the ambition gene, and that's okay. We love them anyway. She covered her mouth like she was trying not to laugh. She wasn't trying that hard. The comments at that point were brutal. People who didn't know me, didn't know anything, just piling on. The grateful ones are always the broke ones. Lamau. 12 years and still no house? Sir. Your brother sounds like a whole disappointment. No offense. No offense. 8 million people watching my sister mock me, and they said no offense. I sat there for a long moment. I could feel my heartbeat in my temples. I thought about Elijah, the little boy I'd just pulled back from the edge. I thought about the moment his mother grabbed my hand in the hallway at 4 a.m. and said, "Thank you for saving my baby." And then I looked at my phone again. At my sister's face. At 8 million views. I made a decision. I wasn't going to call her. I wasn't going to text her. I wasn't going to send a cease and desist. I wasn't going to do anything. Because here's what Felicia forgot, and what 8 million strangers were about to discover on their own. The internet has a way of doing the work for you. I just had to wait. My colleague Dr. Priya Nair found the video first through a mutual friend. Priya is 41, Tamil American, sharp as a scalpel, and she has absolutely zero tolerance for nonsense. She texted me, "Timothy, please tell me you've seen this. Please tell me you're not letting this stand." I replied, "I saw it. I'm not touching it." She called me immediately. "Timothy, she has 300,000 followers. This is spreading." "Priya, I just did a 14-hour craniotomy. I am exhausted. And I trust the internet." Silence. "Then, you trust the internet?" "More than I trust my sister to be reasonable." Priya sighed. That specific sigh she does when she thinks I'm being naively calm. But she didn't push further. What she did instead, without telling me, was screenshot Felicia's video and share it on her own Twitter, now called X, with exactly one sentence. "This is my colleague Dr. Timothy Gibson. He is a board-certified neurosurgeon at Emory who just saved a child's life this morning. His sister posted this TikTok 3 days ago." Priya had 82,000 followers. By noon, her post had 40,000 retweets. By 3 p.m., Felicia's comment section had found Dr. Timothy Gibson, MD, on Emory's faculty directory, complete with my specialization, my published research on pediatric epilepsy, and a photo of me in my white coat. The comments section became a war zone. Except Felicia's army never showed up. Just 8 million witnesses watching the truth walk in without knocking. I found out about Priya's post at 4 p.m. I stared at my phone. Then I texted her, "You didn't." She replied, "I did. You're welcome. Also, your mom called me. Brace yourself." Mama's name is Gloria Gibson. 63 years old. Former LPN, retired. The kind of woman who has a Bible verse for every situation and a wooden spoon she's never actually used but keeps on the counter as a spiritual warning. She called me at 4:17 p.m. She didn't say hello. "Timothy Lamont Gibson, why is your sister's phone going to voicemail?" "Mama, I don't know." "Did you say something to her?" "Mama, I haven't spoken to Felicia in 6 weeks." A long pause. I could hear the TV in the background, her stories. Then she said, very quietly, "Baby, I saw the video." Something in her voice broke me open a little. Because Mama always protected Felicia. Always smoothed it over. Always said she's just finding her path. But this time her voice had a different quality. Like she finally saw the full shape of something she'd been refusing to look at. "Mama. No. Let me say this." She took a breath. "I raised that girl the same as I raised you. Same house. Same love." And she went on the internet and made a fool of herself and of this family over a lie. Her voice cracked. "You live simple because you choose to, Timothy. Because you said you didn't want to be flashy. I know my child." "Yes, I'm calling her again. And if she doesn't pick up," another pause. "I want you to know that I am not okay with what she did. I am not okay." That was the most Mama had ever said against Felicia. In 63 years of life and 29 years of excusing her youngest child's behavior, Gloria Gibson finally drew a line. That meant more to me than all 8 million views combined. By 6 p.m. Tuesday evening, Felicia's TikTok comment section had completely flipped. The original mockery was gone, buried under thousands of new comments that had discovered the truth. Wait. Her brother is a neurosurgeon at Emory? She really called a brain surgeon a disappointment. The faculty page. He has published research. She works at the mall. She works at the mall, and mocked him. I cannot believe I laughed at this video 3 days ago. I am so embarrassed. This man saved a child's brain and she said he has no ambition? I am sick. The video itself hit 12 million views by sundown, not because people agreed with Felicia anymore, because they were sharing it as a cautionary tale. As a look at this woman who publicly humiliated her genius brother and got destroyed by facts. My phone wouldn't stop. Journalists. Bloggers. 2 morning shows. A producer from a podcast called Black Excellence Files who left a voicemail that said, "Dr. Gibson, your story is extraordinary. With love." I deleted it. I wasn't doing interviews. I wasn't performing my pain. But something else was happening that nobody expected. Former patients started appearing in the comments. Not by name, HIPAA is real, but anonymous accounts posting things like, "This man operated on my daughter. She's alive because of him. Let that sink in." And, "Dr. D did my husband's tumor removal. My husband just celebrated his 50th birthday last month. Felicia, be so serious." 12 million views. And every single one of them now knew the truth. Felicia had not responded to a single comment. Her phone was off. She had, as the title of this story tells you, vanished. Here's where the story gets darker. Because it's not just about the video. My cousin Ariel, Felicia's closest friend since childhood, called me Wednesday morning. Ariel is 34, a social worker in Gwinnett County, and she is one of the most honest people I know. "Timothy," she said, "I need to tell you something and I need you to not get upset." "Ariel, I just survived the internet. Tell me." She exhaled. Felicia has been doing this for years. Not publicly, but privately. She's been telling people, cousins, church people, neighbors, that you're struggling. That you're in debt. That you think you're better than everyone but your life isn't even together. I felt a cold settle into my chest. She told Miss Dorothy from church that you were drowning in student loans and too proud to ask for help. She told Uncle Ray you got passed over for some big promotion. Ariel. I was promoted to attending physician 2 years ago. I know, Timothy. I know. Her voice was tight. I didn't say anything because she's my best friend. And I thought, I don't know what I thought. That it would stop. But it never stopped. She's been quietly tearing you down for years to anyone who would listen. I sat with that for a long time after we hung up. This wasn't about one TikTok. This was a campaign. A quiet, deliberate, years-long campaign to reshape the family's perception of me. To make sure that even if I succeeded, people around me would doubt it. The video was just the first time she did it in public. And the internet caught her. By Wednesday afternoon, Felicia had deleted the original TikTok. Then she deleted every video from the past 6 months. Then she set her account to private. By Thursday morning, the account was completely gone, deactivated. But the internet doesn't forget. The video had been screen recorded, downloaded, reposted. It was living on YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram Reels. There was an entire Reddit thread on Am I the Arsehole? Someone else had posted it, and it had 47,000 upvotes. The top comment, "She really said grateful for what to a man who saves children's brains for a living. NTA doesn't even cover it. She's the villain of her own story." I read that thread for longer than I want to admit. What got me wasn't the outrage. It was the people in the comments who recognized the pattern. Parents of 2 siblings, one high-achieving, one resentful. People who said, "I have a brother just like Felicia," or "This is my sister to a T." Thousands of people nodding along because they'd lived some version of this story in their own families. That's when I realized this wasn't just mine anymore. And Thursday afternoon, someone found Felicia's LinkedIn, which listed her job, retail sales manager, Lenox Square Mall. I want to be very clear, there is nothing wrong with that job. Work is work. My mama cleaned hospital rooms before she became a nurse. I have never once believed a job defines a person's worth. But Felicia had mocked me for my dead-end life, while working retail. And once the internet connected those dots, Mercy was gone. I got a call Thursday evening from my old mentor, Dr. Theodore Wainwright. 68 years old. The man who told me in my third year of residency, "Timothy, you are going to be extraordinary." He said just 4 words. "They can't touch you." Felicia resurfaced on Friday. Not publicly. Not with an apology video. Not with a statement. She texted me. I stared at my phone for a full minute before opening it. The message was long. I'm going to read it to you exactly as she wrote it. "Timothy, I know you probably hate me right now, and honestly I don't blame you. I didn't think that video was going to blow up like that. I was just venting. I've been going through a lot and I took it out in the wrong place. People are sending me death threats and I've had to turn my phone off. I lost 2 brand deals because of this. My manager at work knows now and things are weird. I just need you to know I didn't mean it to go this far." I read it twice. I didn't think that video would blow up. Not, I was wrong to make it. Not, what I said was a lie. Not, I've been tearing you down privately for years and I'm sorry. Just, I didn't think it would go this far. That's the difference between regret and remorse. Regret is, I'm sorry I got caught. Remorse is, I'm sorry I did it. Felicia was sorry she got caught. I typed my response. Deleted it. Typed another. Deleted that too. Then I put my phone face down on my kitchen counter and cooked myself dinner: salmon, roasted sweet potato, sautéed spinach. Ate alone. Watched an episode of something I can't even remember. Then I picked up my phone and wrote exactly this. "Felicia, I hope you're safe. I'm not going to address the internet situation. But I do think we need to talk, not about the video, but about the years before it. Whenever you're ready. Take your time." She left it on read for 48 hours. The conversation I hadn't expected came Saturday morning from my Uncle Ray. 61 years old. Felicia's godfather. The man she'd apparently told I got passed over for a promotion. He called me at 9 a.m. I almost didn't pick up. "Timothy." His voice was gruff. Embarrassed. "I owe you an apology." I said nothing. Let him talk. "Felicia told me some things. Over the years. About you struggling. And I believed her. Because she's family and because I didn't ask you directly." He cleared his throat. "I told people at your cousin Donnell's graduation last year that you were probably going to have to sell that apartment. That things weren't going well. And I want you to know, I'm ashamed of that." I repeated a lie without checking the source. My jaw was tight. "Uncle Ray, how long have people in this family thought I was struggling?" He was quiet for a moment. "A while, son." "Years." "Yes." I stared at the ceiling of my apartment. 12-foot ceilings. I'd chosen this place because it felt like breathing room. Felicia had seen it in a photo and called it little. Uncle Ray had heard it was failing. And meanwhile, I'd been operating on human brains, publishing research, and quietly building a life I was genuinely proud of. While my sister architectured my failure in the family's imagination. "I appreciate you calling, Uncle Ray. You're a good man, Timothy. You always were." After I hung up, I sat in the silence of my apartment for a long time. The morning light was coming through the windows. It was quiet. And I felt something I hadn't felt since Tuesday. Not anger, not hurt, not vindication. Just exhaustion. And underneath it, something that felt like the beginning of freedom. The part of this story I haven't told you yet is about a man named Harvey. Harvey Gibson. My father. 48 hours after the video went viral, he called me for the first time in 6 years. My parents divorced when I was 12. Dad moved to Charlotte. He sent birthday cards sometimes. He came to my Morehouse graduation, sat in the back, hugged me for 4 seconds, said "I'm proud of you, son," like he was reading from a script. Then went back to Charlotte. I had made my peace with Harvey. Or I thought I had. He called Saturday afternoon. I almost let it go to voicemail. I didn't. "Timothy." His voice sounded older than I remembered. I saw what your sister did. Yeah. I want you to know, he stopped. Started again. I wasn't there. When you were coming up. I wasn't there, and that wasn't right. And I think some of what Felicia became, some of that is because she watched you succeed and she didn't have the tools to handle it. Because I wasn't there to teach her those tools. Or you. I didn't say anything. I'm not making excuses for her. What she did was wrong. I'm saying. Some of this is on me. And I'm sorry, son. For all of it. I'm 34 years old. I have steady hands, literally, professionally. I have held a scalpel over an exposed brain without trembling. But in that moment, holding my phone with my father's voice coming through the speaker saying words I had waited 22 years to hear, my hand shook. Harvey, I said. And I didn't say anything else for a moment. Then, thank you for calling. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a door. And I left it cracked. 3 weeks after the video, Felicia and I finally met in person. Mama arranged it. Of course Mama arranged it. Her kitchen. Sunday afternoon. Sweet potato pie on the counter because Gloria Gibson handles conflict with food and prayer. Felicia looked tired. She'd aged somewhere in those 3 weeks, not physically, but in her eyes. The smirk was gone. In its place was something rawer. She sat across from me at Mama's kitchen table where we'd done homework as kids, eaten Christmas dinner, argued about the TV remote. She didn't look at me when she started talking. I was jealous. She said it flat. No decoration. I've been jealous of you since Morehouse. And instead of dealing with it, I chipped away at you in private. And then that video. She finally looked up. I didn't know it would explode. But I also knew it wasn't true when I made it. And I made it anyway. I studied her face. My sister. My blood. Why? I asked. She blinked. Because it felt easier to believe you were struggling than to admit that I was. The kitchen was very quiet. Mama was at the counter pretending to wipe something. I lost the brand deals, Felicia continued. Work is tense. People recognize me now, not in a good way. I have to rebuild my whole life. She exhaled. And I deserve it. I know I deserve it. I leaned back in my chair. The video is one thing, Felicia. The years before it are another. The things you told people. I know. Her voice cracked. I know, Timothy. We didn't hug that afternoon. We didn't have a movie moment. But we started. Slowly, painfully, honestly. And sometimes that has to be enough. It's been 2 months since all of this. I still operate. Last week I removed a glioblastoma from a 52-year-old grandfather named Arthur who wants to see his grandkids grow up. His surgery went 11 hours. He woke up. He smiled. He said, "Doc, am I still me?" And I said, "Mr. Arthur, you're still completely you." That's why I do this. Not for 8 million views. Not for validation. For Arthur. For Elijah. For every patient who puts their life, literally, their open skull, in my hands and trusts me. Felicia is in therapy now. Mama told me. She's working through things she's been carrying since childhood, things I had no idea about, wounds from our parents' divorce that she processed differently than I did. I'm not excusing the behavior, but I'm choosing to understand it. There's a difference. Harvey and I have spoken 3 more times. We're not close. We may never be. But we're talking, and that's more than I had 6 months ago. Uncle Ray called to tell me he corrected what he'd said at Donnell's graduation. He told the family the truth. And me. I'm in my apartment. My little apartment with the 12-foot ceilings. The morning light is coming through the windows right now as I tell you this story. I have salmon in the fridge and a journal on the nightstand and a surgery scheduled for 7 a.m. tomorrow. I am not bitter. I refuse to be bitter. Because bitterness is a weight, and my hands need to be steady. My mama said it best, ironing clothes at 5 a.m., "Baby, let your work speak. Turns out, 8 million people finally heard it. If you believe hard work and integrity should speak louder than jealousy and lies, hit that subscribe button. Only people who side with Felicia won't. Comment let your work speak if this story hit home. And if you can't stand people who tear others down in secret while smiling to their face, smash that like button. Because Timothy didn't need to say a word. The truth showed up on its own.